Okay, I guess everybody who wanted to join already did so. So let's begin. So today is another round of XP Talks. Today we have a wonderful, fresh project that is called Thinkin without G at the end. And we have a representative of the project whose name is Matt, who is a product and partnership officer of the project. Hello, Matt.
Hey Dima, how's it going? Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. So could you please introduce yourself and tell us more about who you are, what you do in the project?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Hi everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Matej. I've been working on the Thinking platform for the past year or so, and my responsibilities involve forming partnerships with other projects in the Web3 space, figuring out how we can integrate them on our platform. And as an extension of that, I've been involved in the product development process as my background is mostly in product management. So I'm sort of the guy between partnerships and product.
Great. Where are you from? Where are you located?
Yeah, I'm originally from Slovakia, but I've been living in Hong Kong for the past 8 years. And most of our team is
Oh, I
actually
see.
based in Korea, in Seoul.
Wow, so you're in Hong Kong and your team is in Korea,
Yeah,
hopefully in South Korea?
yeah, South Korea.
Okay, just kidding. Of course, I'm sure that you're not from North Korea. Right. So could you tell us a bit more about the team and the project, what your guys doing? How did you even come up with this idea of starting this project?
hmm
What was behind this idea?
Yeah, so sure. Actually, our team has been involved in Web3 for a while now, basically since the first bull run when Bitcoin hit 20,000. I think most of us started working full time in Web3. And the team from Korea, they sort of started as a marketing agency. So they've been helping a lot of international projects with localized marketing in Korea. And through this endeavor, they also helped a few other launchpads create communities in Korea. And we figured out, well, there's a market gap and we could probably try and fill it up. And that's how we started the Thinking project, which we started last year.
Right. Why did you come up with the idea of exactly this project? So, as far as I understand, the core product is the Launchpad,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Or like DAO Launchpad, something like this. So, can you tell us more about the product itself and why you decided to launch exactly this? Maybe you spotted that there's a gap in the market and the market lacks something like this.
Yeah, exactly. Because we felt like, most of the launchpads that are currently in Web3 and are doing a pretty good job in launching new projects, but a lot of them are like the projects launching on them. The volatility for the token prices are quite high. And also, like, given the background in marketing that our team has, we realized that the reason for that is because, some of the projects who don't really have long-lasting communities behind them and good supporters, they usually try to cash out, and basically, like, the value for projects launching with them is not really long term. It's sort of like a short term pump and dump. And we try to figure out like how we can sort of tackle this problem. And we felt like, also around the time, there was quite a lot of play to earn and gamified elements with NFTs becoming popular. So we felt like we can kind of take this concept and put it onto a launchpad and basically incentivize the organic community growth and creating a long-lasting value for the projects launching through giving allocation to the users who participate actively in the community, which also kind of helps solve another problem with existing launchpads is that you would have to purchase some tokens in order to be able to invest on the opportunities in the launchpad, which for us, we try to eliminate this because back in 2017, 2018, the ICO bubble was quite popular. Anyone who wanted to participate in the ICO could be able to invest in different projects, which I feel like, is a core value of Web3 and decentralization. And we feel like this should be represented in a Launchpad space as well.
Did I understand you correctly that those who want to participate, they will have to buy your token to do so?
They don't have to, but we will also have the opportunity for users who don't want to participate in a community. They can just purchase a token and they can invest as they would on any other launchpad. But for users who don't really want to purchase tokens, They can just participate in the ecosystem. They can promote, talk about different projects, create some kind of organic traction behind the projects that will be featured on the platform, and that way they can earn allocation on the Launchpad. So there are both ways like how you can participate on the Launchpad.
I also read somewhere, probably on your website or in your Discord, or maybe somewhere else, that your project is very user centric.
Mm-hmm.
Could you expand on that? How is your project user centric? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, of course. So initially, it's very difficult to have a user-centric project when you don't really have a token and don't really have a community governance. But that's something that we're building in mind. So in the future, we obviously will give governance privileges to all token holders or also NFT holders, which basically anyone who comes on a platform can mint the NFT for free, and they can participate and they can level up their NFT sort of through a gamified experience. So we're trying to build a product with the user in mind and putting the users first. And obviously, we do have some kind of a vision how we want to build a product and what we want to bring to the community. But we will be very happy to listen to the opinions and feedback of our users and community to better shape the product overall in the future.
Do I understand it correctly that you guys also launching your own DAO, where your community members will have a say in how the project is going to develop, or I misunderstood something?
Yeah, so that will happen in the future, but not as right now because we haven't even launched our token yet. But that's the idea behind it as well. It'll be a community DAO, and users will be able to, vote on which projects will be featured and etc.
Right, that makes sense. Clear. So as far as I remember from your roadmap, you're supposed to launch the token this quarter, or something has changed.
Yeah, a couple things changed. Because initially we thought about launching the token as a part of Algorand ecosystem. However, as you probably know, the Algorand ecosystem had some security issues which also affected our users, specifically the My Algo Wallet incident. So we've been dealing with that, and for that reason, we also prioritized bridging to other ecosystems, which was also on our roadmap, but it was planned after the TGE. We were supposed to release the token on Algorand, but we prioritized deploying on Optimism first, just to be able to provide a more secure and robust infrastructure for the users. And then we will issue the token. So the current roadmap, we're thinking about launching the token later this year, probably like Q3 or Q4, depending on how the development on Optimism will go.
I see. It makes a lot of sense. So since you already started speaking about Algorand and Optimism, so let's also discuss this a bit. Why was Algorand your first choice? So as far as I understand, your platform initially was either planned or was already launched on Algorand. So why did you choose that blockchain?
We felt like, around launchpads, it's very difficult to bring a new launchpad on an established ecosystem. So for example, if we were trying to launch on Ethereum, even though you have good features, it would be kind of difficult to get some kind of a market traction because there's a lot of existing solutions in the ecosystem. So for that, we prioritize Algorand, and also Algorand Foundation liked our idea, and then they initially provided grant. Before we were actually called Algo Launch, and we felt like the Algorand ecosystem was a good starting point for us, just because the ecosystem by itself wasn't very evolved. So it would give us a good opportunity to, get a good traction as a launchpad in the ecosystem. However, later on, we've been thinking that overall we will definitely focus on expanding to other EVM chains, mainly because there was the demand from different projects that we've been talking about. We realized like some of the projects, they don't really care about which chain we're established at. They just want to raise the funds. So in order to cater the different projects, we realized we also need to bridge to EVM chains. And that's why we sort of rebranded and we changed our name to Thinkin from Algorand, Algo Launch, sorry.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. But before we go on to EVM chains, impact the ecosystem in Algorand, what happened? What are the people saying? What's going on? Yeah, I think our listeners might be interested to know from someone who is an insider of Algorand ecosystem, what happened after the exploit? How did it impact the ecosystem, the users, the residents of that ecosystem, if I can put it so? What are the anticipation of the future in Algorand?
Mm-hmm.
Will it be better? Will it be worse? Like, what's going on there?
That's a good question. To be honest, I can't really speak on behalf of the Algorand ecosystem by itself. I'm sure it has some future, right? It's just a small security incident in a wallet, which kind of have been solved. But for us, it had a kind of a big impact because some of our users, we only supported two wallets. It was Pera wallet and my Algo wallet. And for a reason, like the users who've been using my Algo wallet, they had to rekey their existing wallets to Pera wallet. So we had to sort of provide some kind of a tools for them to be able to change the wallet address because some of our users, they already had some assets and they already had some rewards, they already had some NFTs on their existing wallets, and we had to be able to change their wallets, which also wasn't very easy and very successful in all cases because sometimes the hackers would do it before them and etc. So we still have some kind of a backlog of users who are affected, and we kind of promised them that once we deploy on Optimism, we'll be able to airdrop whatever asset they lost or whatever rewards they have been taken from them, because we don't want this to impact our users, obviously. But for us, it was a bit of a roadblock in terms of our user growth, user satisfaction, and everything. That's why one of our main priorities right now is expanding to EVM ecosystems.
I see. Did you have any help from Algorand team or from their DAO or whatever they have to support projects like yours?
Not entirely. We've been working with our developers on that and trying to find a solution. But it's been taking a while. It's not something we're entirely happy, but it happens.
Okay, I see. Right, so much for Algorand. Let's move on to the EVM chain. So why have you chosen Optimism among so many other EVM chains? I heard there are more than 50. I'm not sure I can name all 50, but I think there are even more now, more than 50. So why Optimism out of all the
Yeah.
others?
Well, there's plenty of options when it comes to EVM chains, and for us, it's mostly about like rewriting our smart contracts from Algorand specific language to Solidity, create audits, and make sure the security of the smart contracts is secured. And then we will be able to expand. We decided to go with Optimism first because we feel like it's a good starting point. It's a growing ecosystem, has been doing quite well in the bear market, but eventually we will also deploy on other chains too.
So Optimism will be like the center of your ecosystem, and then using hopefully our bridge, you will be able to reach any other EVM or non-EVM chain, correct?
Yes, pretty
Is
much.
that the plan?
Yes, yes.
Okay, amazing. So do you know anything specific about Optimism that made you choose it among other chains? All the other EVM chains support Solidity,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, right? So why Optimism?
Well, we've been discussing with developers, and they sort of suggested that Optimism would be a good point, just mainly because they had experience deploying on Optimism, and it wouldn't take too much time to take our existing smart contracts and build them in Solidity. So basically, based on the suggestion and of all the stakeholders, we decided for Optimism.
I see, I see. I got it. And previously, everything was written in Teal or PyTeal.
Yeah.
So did you use Python or Teal, like this assembly language directly?
Yes. Yes, the one that Algorand uses.
Yeah, they use Teal and or anything that is compiled to Teal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it, got it. Right. Of course, Solidity is comparatively easy in comparison to Teal itself, and it's pretty much the same complexity as PyTeal, because PyTeal is like Python with some typings, because Python is not a typed language. You don't tell the variable what type it's going to hold. Python does it for you. But in PyTeal, they added this typing so that you every time you tell the variable what exactly it's going to hold, either a number or a string or something else. So basically, that's the major difference with Python itself. And then the good part is that it compiles to this teal and then compiles to binary that you can upload on the chain, and then it runs. So that's how it works on Algorand. Okay, I got it. Have you thought of other chains other than Optimism? Like, what would be your next choice after Optimism?
Yeah, probably Polygon or Matic or ZK Sync. would be our next options.
Right. Yeah, Polygon is also fast. Sometimes it's not so fast. It's sometimes it has congestion times when it's pretty hard to be included in the block, but it's comparatively cheap, and it's also a layer two solution over Ethereum. So it's pretty much the same as Optimism, but Polygon is pretty popular. Sometimes, if you compare, you have approximately the same or even more NFT transactions on Polygon than on Ethereum, because Ethereum used to be pretty expensive. Now it's less.
Hopefully, it's just gonna get cheaper and cheaper, and then eventually the L2 chains will be also more user friendly and more adaptable too.
Yeah, surprisingly, Ethereum became much cheaper. Like deploying a contract on Ethereum used to cost like hundreds or sometimes even thousands of dollars if it was a big contract. But recently we noticed that some of our contracts, we managed to deploy them like for 30, 40, $70, which is very unusual for Ethereum. And we were surprised. We even thought at the beginning something went wrong and part of the contract wasn't even deployed. But then when we checked, everything was there. So actually Ethereum is also doing a good job reducing the transaction costs. So also maybe think about it sometime in the future.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. I kind of stopped checking, the website fees.wtf. I stopped checking a couple of years ago because it was quite depressive looking at how many Ethereum I spent on fees in the past.
Right. Could you tell us a bit more about the Launchpad itself? Like, it's a Launchpad for what kind of projects? What are the terms for the projects to participate? And maybe you can also tell us how many projects you already had. Maybe if some of them are famous, tell us who they are.
Yeah, so we haven't launched any projects yet because we're still on the testnet, and we also didn't really want to start Launchpad during a bear market. It's generally a bad time for projects to launch, and there's also not that much demand when it comes to projects willing to launch currently. But in terms of what kind of Launchpad it is, it's a decentralized Launchpad. So the projects would launch as IDO in a decentralized way, so they would lock liquidity, and we will make sure that the token is tradable right after launching. At the same time, we want to allow users to launch their NFT collections, so we will also support INOs or initial NFT offerings as well, just depending on what kind of projects would like to launch. We've been talking to a few potential candidates who'd be willing to launch. However, since we only had built the Launchpad on Algorand, we haven't been able to support it as of right now because we still want to launch on mainnet on Optimism before we will start launching the projects. So it's still giving us some time to focus on the product. Just basically because when it comes to the social aspect, SocialFi, there's still some features that are missing, and we want to allow users to be able to earn allocation through their activity on the forum and other existing networks. So, for example, on Twitter, when people will be talking on Twitter, they would eventually gain allocation on the Launchpad. But these kind of features are not built yet, so we're still working on it.
Right. Do you offer some support to the projects that you're planning to launch? For example, increasing their community or marketing solutions that you can launch together.
Yeah, so
Have you been
the
thinking?
company behind
Mm-hmm.
Thinkin, Winterlab, we've been sort of offering marketing services as marketing agency, as I mentioned before. We also made some investments previously in the past. So we made investments into projects that we help to market in Korea and help them grow their community. So in a similar fashion, we also want to support the projects launching on our Launchpad in terms of marketing and also community growth and any potential investments that we'll be able to make. So it's kind of like the Launchpad sort of fits into our ecosystem where we will be trying to provide all-around services for Web2 clients trying to transition to Web3, or new clients would be starting their ideas in Web3. In terms of community growth marketing, we can also provide some initial funding, and then we can help them launch the product on our own Launchpad.
Right, I see. That makes a lot of sense, and it's great that you offer some additional support other than just offering them to use your decentralized contracts on Optimism or other networks. I also saw that on Q2 this year, you're planning to launch an NFT lending platform. Is that still there? Are you still planning to launch it this quarter, or something has shifted because you're migrating to another protocol?
Yeah, we'll most likely be delayed until Q3 or Q4 with the launch on Optimism. That's something that we're working on right now. And basically, the idea behind the lending platform is that sometimes users who participate in the community, they get a higher level on their NFT, and they can possibly gain allocation for different features on the Launchpad or projects. But they not always may want to do that, so they might just lend their NFT to someone who doesn't have that kind of level and that kind of ranking, and they can basically collect passive income based on their activity. So some social media influencers or personalities like this, or just normal users who participate in the community, they might not always be interested investing in projects on the Launchpad, but they can gain a higher level of the NFT and basically earn allocation that way. So we want to provide them tools to be able to monetize their involvement, even if they're not interested in participating in investment opportunities on the Launchpad.
Right, that's very interesting. And such platforms, I think they're not present in the market in such a way that you can find them everywhere. So it's great that yours will be one on Optimism. Have you thought of any practical use cases why people would want to borrow an NFT from such a platform?
Yeah, so for example, let's say you don't want to purchase our token for whatever reason, right? But you want to participate, you just see one project launching on our platform, and you want to be able to get some allocation for that. So the cheapest option, for you, instead of buying tokens and then selling them, it might be just, to borrow an NFT for a certain period of time, which is going to cost you close to nothing, or a little bit of fees, and that way you can make an investment on the opportunities on launch. But you invest into the IDO that you're interested in, and then you lend back the NFT, and you basically have made the investment without owning any tokens or minting any NFTs.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And so it means that those who owe your token or temporarily owe the token, only they are eligible for participation in your launchpads. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically that's the idea behind the marketplace. I mean, the lending marketplace.
Right. So that's why it makes sense to people to owe your NFTs.
And that
Either you can use it yourself as a project, or you can then rent it out after you launched your project. You can rent it out to the rest. Is that
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So we basically try to encourage anyone, even people who are not interested in investing on the Launchpad, but they want to participate in the community. They will be able to leverage their engagement with the community in this way.
And if I'm not mistaken, I saw that there was a possibility for people to mint your NFTs for free up to 100 items. Or I misunderstood something on your website.
Yeah, basically any user who comes on our platform, registers, can mint the NFT for free. And that NFT will have a level up system, different attributes, etc. So like through different type of engagement, like for example posting or commenting, you will have different attributes. And based on those attributes, you increase your rewards. So it will be easier for you to level up your NFT the more you get engaged and involved with the community. And we sort of try to provide a gamified experience. We will also provide like daily quests, different challenges. We will also like to host, different AMAs, like for example this one, and participants who are there when the AMA is happening, they will get some experience, etc. So it's kind of like an interactive and gamified way how to get people engaged and involved.
And are those NFTs still available for minting, or you already are out of allocation?
Yes, we still have some, and they will be available for everyone. Though the reason how we will try to monetize it in a way is that we will be selling mystery boxes, which we did our initial sale I think in February this year. So those boxes sold out, and they basically provide variables for these NFTs because our NFT character, his name is called Popo. It's kind of like a hippo character, and users they don't have to, but they can, purchase different clothes, which sort of enhances the attributes of the NFT and sort of provides a boost for the rewards that they receive.
Aha, so the more advanced your NFT is, the more traits it has, the more rewards you're getting in return, correct? From every event that you're participating.
Yes, exactly. And also then ultimately the higher chance you have to receive allocation for the Launchpad.
I see. So guys, if you're listening us now in real time, it makes a lot of sense to quickly run to the website of Thinkin dot Inc., right?
Yes.
Dot Inc. And find where you can mint a free NFT while it's still free. And you already know that you will be able to rent it out later on, or you will be able to participate in different kinds of events, upgrading your NFT, and being eligible for more and more rewards in the future. Is that correct? Am I missing something?
No, that's perfect. Thank you. Still, all the functionality is missing, but we're working on it. And hopefully the whole vision will be concluded later this year. We migrate to
Right. So as long as it's free now, so probably it might cost something in the future. Maybe it makes a lot of sense to run and do it whenever you can. Right. You also recently said that your contracts are audited. Could you tell us who the auditing company was or is?
I would have to look it up, but they only audited the Algorand version of the smart contracts. So for Solidity smart contract, they're still being developed. And we need to test them, and then we will also get a security audit.
Right. And do you have any companies in mind who you're going to work with?
Yeah, I would have to double check, to be honest. Not on top of my mind right now, but for sure we'll try to work with some of the established auditors in the Web3 space.
Okay. If you're in doubt, ask us. We will give you some good connections who we already worked with. I just don't want this AMA to turn into advertisement of some other third parties, right? So in a private conversation, we can tell you who does really, really good job in terms of they really check well, they find the vulnerabilities if they are over there, and they don't charge too much. Like it's a good value for money. Just I'm not gonna give you names right now.
Sounds good. We'll definitely talk about it later because that will be useful for us as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I also saw on your roadmap that there's going to be an alpha launch, I think, in the third quarter this year. So can you tell us what is meant by alpha launch?
Yeah, it's basically the initial launch when we'll be launching on Optimism. Right now, we did basically open beta on Algorand, and then later on, when we migrate to Optimism, we also provide users to be able to, open public to be able to go on the platform and check it out, gather some feedback and points of improvement for us before we probably do the TGE and launch on mainnet.
Right. Just for the sake of more interested for the users, like imagine somebody who listens to this AMA right now or later on a record, if they decide to come and invest something into the projects that you're launching, do you do some checks on the project's background, on how reliable they are, whether they are not going to do rug pulling or something? So do you do something, or anybody just can come to your decentralized contract, do some clicks, submit some transactions, and there they go? How does it work?
So usually we will partner with projects who we will be engaged with in a longer term basis. So we will potentially also do our own investment into the project. We will also help them with marketing and other services as well. So it would definitely be one of the projects that we are comfortable with since we already invested our own money into it. So we do have a verification process. We also have a research team who is constantly looking for new opportunities, and also will be verifying existing opportunities featured on the Launchpad.
Okay, that's cool. So basically, if somebody comes to your platform, you did some diligence checks before you launched the project, and at least some chance is that the project is not going to crash in the nearest future, right?
Yeah, also, I think one of the metrics for Launchpads, how well they're doing, is based on the return on investments usually people get. So I think for us is, kind of important, the token economy of featured projects that is sort of, long-term viable, that provides some kind of incentive for investors to invest and be able to profit out of it. So we've been figuring this out for our own project. We've been figuring this out as a VC arm investing into different projects. So we do have some experience. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but we will do our best, and we also want to protect our users to make sure that we don't provide sketchy investment opportunities. I think one of the value proposition for Launchpads, just like for example Binance, they do verify their projects, whatever they're launching on. Obviously, nobody can guarantee anything, in the Web3 space, but we all trying to do our best to make sure we protect our users.
Right, I see. I see. Still, to the listeners, I want to tell you that even though a project that is being launched has been checked, even thoroughly checked, it doesn't give you a 100% guarantee that this project is going to work, that this project is good, and that somebody advises you to invest. So don't listen to anybody. Okay, do your diligence checks before you do something. If you're not sure, do not invest. Okay, do not go to any launchpad or platform. Do your homework yourselves, right? Even though somebody already did it for you, it shouldn't be an advice for you, right? Everybody has to do the checks on their own, correct, Matt?
Yes, I agree. I think that's the beauty of self-custody, like once you have your money or your coins or whatever in your own wallet, and it's completely up to you what you do with it. It has its pros and cons, right? There's no bank you're gonna try and call back and see what happened and why the money got deducted or whatever. So it comes with its risk, but I also believe that there is much more benefits involved. That's why, you know, most of my funds are in self-custodial wallets rather than trusting third parties.
Right. I also see on your roadmap that there are going to be some challenges. Also, I think it says the second or third quarter this year. So, can you tell us more about what kind of challenges are we expecting? Do they involve NFTs? Do they involve taking part in your launchpads?
Yeah, basically, we want to provide challenges, something like quests, for users to get involved with the community, participate with different projects, and so we will partner with different projects and create some kind of a marketing campaigns for them. Either it's an AMA or we'll try to have some kind of competitions, like try to describe this and that, and then let the community rank different users or different submissions. It's sort of like different ways how to get people involved in the community building aspect.
Right. I also see that you expect further development of your ecosystem in the fourth quarter this year. Can you tell us more what is going to happen?
Yeah, sure. So eventually we will try to, as I mentioned before, we do have the VC arm and we also have the marketing agency. I would like to help with other established Web2 clients in South Korea transition and create like their own token economy and transition to Web3. So we believe that's kind of an interesting business opportunity, and we do try to build a thinking platform as a part of this ecosystem. We will be able to help existing clients, bigger companies enter the Web3 space, and we will be able to sort of provide all the main solutions that are required for this in-house. So from investing, marketing, launching, community building, or any other consulting, research, or vetting and risk analysis, etc. We will try to provide all these solutions to different clients. So that's basically how the Thinkin platform fits sort of in a wider ecosystem of what we're trying to build over long term.
Great, thank you for that. As far as I understand, your decision to move to Optimism had some background thinking and research. Do you think there is no competition for you on Optimism, or there is some competition, but you can easily beat them? What are your feelings about it?
Well, there's quite a lot of existing launchpads in the space, and to be honest, we don't necessarily see everyone as a competition. I think the benefit of Web3 and like trying to be interconnected is that we can collaborate with other launchpads, with other projects. Nobody's stopping you that one project has to launch on just one particular launchpad. There are ways how you can go about it. At the same time, like we also try to bring something innovative and something new into the space. Like the idea behind the platform started sort of because we felt like we can do something new, and we just wanted to build it in the Web3 space. And hopefully, the idea is successful. Maybe there will be some other launchpads trying to copy what we are trying to do, and that's sort of a compliment. Like we don't really look at it as a competition because we believe that. A lot of people can benefit from growth of different projects and different different sort of new comings in the Web3 space. So of course there are lots of existing launchpads, but our idea is that we try to just bring something new. And what we're trying to do is basically allow anyone without any financial commitment, without buying any tokens or buying any NFTs, can just come, and through some kind of organic involvement, which also, adds a lot of value for the projects featured. Through that, they can earn the allocation on the Launchpad. So that's our main value proposition.
Right. Okay. It's great that you have your point, and I'm sure that it's going to be evaluated by the market. My next question is, can you explain how you came across XP.NETWORK? We're an NFT and SFT bridge. That's all we do at the moment. So why have you decided to collaborate with us? And how do you see we can help you in your future development?
Yes, I think our involvement with XP.NETWORK was through Minter Lab, I believe, even before we started the Thinkin project. I believe Minter Lab worked with you guys to some capacity. I'm not 100% sure because I wasn't part of those conversations, or maybe we made some investment into XP.NETWORK. So when we were sort of deciding about bridging our NFTs from Algorand to other chains, obviously what came up in our conversations with our team was to reach out to you guys. We had a call, we had a discussion about like how would the solution look like and how would it be, and we definitely liked it. I feel like the plugin that you guys created, it really gives us a lot of opportunity for projects like ours to sort of customize and help create a user-friendly experience, how we can help our users bridge their assets from Algorand to other chains, which is very valuable for us and very important. So we were very happy to find the solution relatively easy, and very excited to work with you guys in the future.
Thanks for that. I hope it won't be our only cooperation, bridging your NFTs from Algorand to Optimism or to other chains. We hope that eventually your NFTs will become truly multi-chain, because it's super easy without bridge. You don't have to deploy anything. You don't even have to know the technology of the target chain. All you do is just go to our UI or the widget, which you just mentioned, and you just bridge. And the bridge does everything for you. Of course, there are some transaction fees involved on both chain of origin and destination. And of course, the bridge charges the one who sends. But I'm sure it's much better, cheaper, and faster than developing it all on your own. So, for example, while you're in Algorand, you can easily go to an EVM chain without even knowing Solidity. Everything will be done by the bridge. Or if your next step is to go, for example, to Multiversex, which is the new name of Algorand, of Elrond, sorry. So you don't have to know Rust, and you don't know how ESDT token works in their ecosystem. You just select Multiversex as the destination chain, and your tokens are there. So it's that easy. So when you decide to go to more chains, we are there for you.
That's why we chose you guys, because I feel like you're future proof, not only for what we need right now, but also what we will need in the future. And really the amount of networks that you guys already support is amazing. So there's not many bridges supporting as many networks as you guys.
Right, thank you for that. Besides that, we specialize in bridging NFTs and SFTs. We do not bridge fungible tokens. which we assume is easier because a fungible token is just a number that is controlled by a contract. And NFTs, they also have metadata that you have to properly convert to the standard of the destination chain and make sure that everything is there. And that sometimes is a problem because many people, many projects don't follow the standards. They just invent their own key value pairs, and we have to make sure that they are still present in the destination contract and the destination NFTs. With fungible tokens, you don't even have this problem because you don't even have metadata over there. And very often people create some account in some IPFS, which is then canceled, and then their tokens, the metadata becomes inaccessible. And then we'll also have to do something about it, which again, fungible token bridges have no idea about, right? So this is why we specialize only on this. This is our niche. And whenever you need to bridge non-fungible tokens, we are the bridge that is there for you. Maybe you have some questions to us as a bridge, as a partner.
To be honest, yeah, I agree with you. That's why for our governance tokens, we will have to partner with some other bridge who specializes in normal token transfers, not just NFTs. But I think like when we went through your documentation and like seeing your widget and everything, provided all these documents to our developers, they all seemed happy. So for now, I don't think we have many questions. Obviously, there will be some more questions in the future when we'll be working on the integration and other processes. But for now, I think we're fine. Hopefully, the development will move on faster, and then we will be in touch.
Great. Then, since we have some time, I could tell you a bit more about the bridge. We're now migrating to version 3.1 of our bridge, which makes you understand that we had previous versions. And the major difference, for example, in comparison to the previous version 3, is that till version 3, we always had whitelisting. And it was quite a bottleneck. It means that in order to bridge NFTs from some contract, this contract had to be scanned by our bridge. Initially, it was done manually. Then we implemented automatic contract scanning. But again, it only worked with verified contracts only. But now we migrated to a non-whitelisting version of the bridge. It means any contract can be bridged without interacting with our team. And it removed a huge bottleneck. It means, like in the previous versions of the bridge, if you would come, on most collections, you would see a warning that this collection is not whitelisted, and therefore you can't bridge it. So in order to remove this, you had to talk with our team. We had to scan your contract, see that it doesn't have any malicious code that would try to hack the bridge or steal assets from other users, and only then you would be able to bridge. Right now, with version 3.1, it's no longer required, and any contract, even malicious, can try to participate in bridging. We implemented an intermediary contract between the bridge and the NFT contract that will take the risks without compromising the bridge itself or the other users. So it's a new solution that we have in this version, and you actually guys can try it. We also have some pages of documentation for version 3.1 of the bridge. You can see how it was and how it is now, and you will see that now all collections and all NFTs are whitelisted by default, at least on the chains that are supported by the bridge. At the moment, like as we speak, we have 10 chains, and every day we add more, like 1-2 chains every day. Eventually, we'll have all the chains that will not require whitelisting anymore. It will be super easy for you to bridge from any chain to any chain. So this is the update for those who wanted to know. As we're approaching the end of this AMA, could you tell the listeners where we could find more about your project, where we could track your development, where we could find your roadmap?
Yeah, sure. So definitely you can just go to our Twitter profile. You should find most of the major links there. Or if you want to go on our website, it's thinkin.inc. Our beta is at beta.thinkin.inc. Our documentation and all the links are basically on our website. Just scroll down and you should be able to see the links to our Gitbook and any other documentation that might be relevant.
Okay, thank you for that, Matt. Thanks for coming. Thanks for elaborately explaining how your project is going to develop on Optimism. and hope to see more interaction with your project in the future.
Thanks, Dina. Thanks, Dima. Thanks for having us, and thanks for your community to listening and tuning up into this AMA. We'll be happy if you guys check out what we're doing, follow our project, or provide any feedback on opinions. We'll be happy to listen and address anything.
Right. I hope the listeners of this AMA already visited your website, already minted some free NFTs while they're still free, and through this joined your community as well.
That would be nice.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys didn't do so, it's absolutely free at the moment. So go and do it, and just track the development of the project.
And
so thanks for coming. Yes, this AMA will be also available on YouTube if you missed it. And subscribe to our channel not to miss the future AMAs or videos. Thanks everybody for coming, for listening, and see you soon.